lips.com, and it is June 28th, 2016. Boy, we're almost halfway through the year, aren't we? Tonight, I've got a really special show for you. I am going to have the first hour, a guest I've had on before, but at the end of every month, I decided to create a very special show just for Richie Plass because he's such a cool person, and I know he's listening. But Richie is a Native American, and I've invited him to come on once a month and do a show on history and wisdom from the Native American perspective. And then the second hour, we're going to do energy balancing, curse removal, and then we're going to do a light circle. We're going to focus on bees and, of course, a prayer to disband the European Union and putting Governor Snyder and Michigan Republican Party in a position of harmlessness and the BLM. And that should really take us through the whole show. Why I'm going to work on bees is I had this incredible blessing. I've had this garden for a long time, and it's a very humble, a lot of herbs and minus little vegetables that have lived, but organic. And yesterday I had this big swarm of bees come out, and I still have them. And they're outside my front door in my flower pots, and they're kind of building a hive. And it's very lovely. And I can actually go out and be about 2 feet away from them. And there's no fear. I don't have any fear in me, and I just put out that love vibration. And they could care less if I was there. I don't feel threatened. They don't feel threatened. And there's a lot of times I walk by, and it's what a rush. Incredible just to walk around and get close to all these bees that are working in harmony. And I know they're shifting me and they're teaching me something, and I'm still learning whatever that lesson is. But anyway, let's get on with the show. And Richie, welcome.
Aloha, as they say where you are.
And how right? That's right. So how do they say hello where you are?
Oso.
Oso.
Oso, yeah. And it's just like on the islands. It's a greeting when you meet someone, and then it's just a fine farewell when you leave, because in all of our languages, there's really no word for goodbye.
Yeah, that's the same in the Hawaiian language. I like that. We're going to have to get together this week and think of a lovely title for, what is really, I consider your show. And, I've pulled out history and wisdom from the Native American perspective, but if we can talk about changing it. Anyway, we've done a lot of talking about what's going on in the Native American tribes, and you're from the Menominee Nation, and that's upper Wisconsin, right?
Correct, yes. I actually, I live on the west side of Green Bay, which is actually the Oneida Reservation, and our reservation that I'm from, the Menominee, is about 50 miles northwest of Green Bay. So yeah, I'm really close to home. So,
hey, when they had that white buffalo at Janesville, Illinois, did you have a chance to go see it?
No, I didn't. I know a lot of people who did travel down, but no, I never made the trip.
Yeah,
it was something. Yeah.
I got to go on their property, and I did go see the white buffalo. And then on their, it was an incredible farm. They had white peacocks. On this farm, they have I'm just letting people know they had a white buffalo, and this is very significant.
Correct.
In the Native American, God, I'm going brain dead, in your stories and history. So I went down also to, see the white buffalo. And like I said, on the property, they had white peacocks. They had white squirrels. I mean, it was very, very trippy. But can you explain the history of the white buffalo?
Excuse me. I'll try my best because the major base of that comes from the Lakota and the other tribes on the plains out west. But I'll try my best. And if I remember right, the message that is sent is that when if a buffalo is born and it's white, it's very sacred because it is actually carrying on and acknowledging I want to say the message of the white buffalo calf woman, I believe they call her, and it signifies a time of healing, a time of rejoice, a time of, again, if I remember correctly, all good things, and that message that calf brings is one of healing and gathering and togetherness. So, and it doesn't happen very often. And actually, if I remember right, I think they named or christened that particular young buffalo. I believe her name was Miracle.
Yes, yes, you're right.
Right.
And you're right. I also think that later on down the road, and years down the road, that the Lakota also was given a white buffalo, and there was a couple of them that were born out west.
Correct. Yeah, and I know that I was either in a classroom or I was at a school and around that time, and then they showed there were some pictures as it went along in life, and I remember a couple students start questioning and saying, well, it's not white anymore. And I kind of giggled and I went, well, yeah, because it matured, and it's because a lot of some people thought it would age and mature and stay white, and it didn't,
Probably saved its life.
Exactly, because one of the stories that come out of that was really rather, and not to use the language I want to use, so I'll just say one of the things that come out of that story that to me was very disturbing was that the rock and roll guitar player from Michigan, Ted Nugent, actually tried to get approval from whomever to come to Wisconsin or to that farm or whatever, tried to get whoever was in charge to release that buffalo, and then he would track it down and kill it with his bow and arrow to fulfill some other kind of white man prophecy.
That he did. He tried to buy it from them. They told that. And, they refused. And they had a lot of offers from many, many people to take the buffalo, because there was one prophecy out there, like you said, that in order for there to be 100 years of peace, the buffalo had to die. And it's like, right. That's kind of a oxymoron, you know what I mean?
Right.
But that was, their culture, and that was their belief system. But the people that had the white buffalo in Janesville, Illinois, they kept it very sacred. They allowed anybody to come visit.
Yep.
And they really they were good people.
Right. And the prophecy was fulfilled because it did pass on. It didn't live forever. And again, there were some people saying that, well, see, there you go, it don't mean nothing, but it did, it fulfilled the prophecy because it did pass on. And so it's like, yep. So again, it's that following, it's it's that honoring, and it's that belief, because and again, I wasn't I never made it down there, but I had friends and relatives who did go there, and they showed me some pictures, and God, it was just amazing with all of the prayer ties and other sacred items from our culture that were put on the fence and put in the farm, and yeah,
Oh,
it was really
it, it,
powerful. It was really
it was,
powerful.
yeah. When I make dream catchers. My ex-husband was from the Ojibwe tribe. He had some of that blood in him. And when we got there, there was actually one of our dream catchers already on the fence. It was
Yeah,
really
that's
trippy.
neat. Yeah, and again, it's just, again, it's that honoring, it's that show of respect, um, and that's what we're taught that we should do. You know, it's sometimes it's very simple things, and then sometimes when it comes to ceremony, some of those might be complex and very take a lot of time, protocol, and procedure. But again, that's what keeps us who we are, and that's why I appreciate our teachers and our elders, and now the young ones who are paying attention, so that years down the road, part of our comfort and part of our belief system is somewhat more comforting, knowing that our young people are carrying all of those on, and I really I'm honored by the young people that are doing that.
Well, you and I are definitely elders. And
Man, yep.
let, that's all right. We're young elders. Let me ask you a question. You're around the kids and all that. How hard is it for an Indian youth today to grow up?
And that's a great question. I've been asked that before, and I've probably over the years changed my response. And so here's how I look at it. Sometimes when you hear people talk about kids today, or when I was a kid, I had to walk 5 miles one way in the snow to go to school and all these other things. But I believe that the challenges today, I think the challenges are almost the same as when we were young, but the challenge is packaged different. I think one of the toughest things for young people to actually grasp and understand, really, in my opinion, is one of them is social media. Some people, use that for a relief or a connection. Other people, use it for potentially use it for a weapon, and so that's one challenge. I think the other challenge is, and I was up on our reservation last week for a funeral. A childhood friend of mine passed away, and as I got to see a whole lot of my friends I grew up with, I haven't seen for years, and as we're talking on a whole bunch of stuff. And again, with today's society, I think it's tough for our young ones. When I was a kid, and if there was going to be a fight, and everybody kind of knew there was going to be a fight, and then you went outside and there was a fight, so many times when the fight was over, the two people that were in a fight, well, then they like shook hands, or they did whatever they did, and honestly almost wound up being lifelong friends after that. Whereas in today's society and culture, and I've seen this firsthand, a fight might break out, but all of a sudden it isn't just two dudes stand there wailing on each other, pretty soon there's guns, there's other weapons, and then there's, you know, stuff that goes on later. And so a lot of these kids, man, you know, they think it's kind of cool to be around it, and I do a lot of work, you know, in lockups. I go and visit the inmates in various lockups, and all, you know, so many of them, young men and women who are in those places, you know, they tell me right out, they say, Rich, we know you work with the kids and all this other stuff. Man, tell them what they're doing. You know, they think it's cool, and it's not, because I remember one boy specifically told me right out, he says, man, I was just, you know, I was kind of just there, you know, I sold some pot and whatever, he says, but man, the real part of it, Rich, he said, God, I'm going to be in this place for 26 years, man, and that's serious. And then again, too, and I think it's also the combination and the piggybacking of stuff from the inner city, you know, the gang stuff, the drug stuff, and then again, another part of it that I try to address with respect, and I really try not to diminish anybody, who they are, where they're from, but it just seems like today, in the 21st century, comparing back to when I was a young feller, it seems like there are so many single-parent families, so some of our youth don't have that support connection or that value of a two-parent home, and I believe that has a direct effect. So it's like I think there's so many aspects to it. So yes, it's really, in my opinion, it's really, really tough for the young ones to grow up. So when I do see these young people making positive choices, and you know, there are a lot of them making positive choices. You know, they're learning the language, they're learning ceremony, they're learning that respect of the elders. They're staying at school. They're doing their best to stay drug and alcohol free. And when they do that, and they see some of the positive stuff coming back to them, but also I think it has a lot to do with self-esteem. Is that when they do something that's good, and you know, and at the time they might not even think that what they're doing is good, but after a while, when it gets to be, and again, I don't mean to diminish us, but it gets to be routine. It's like, yeah, they're on a good path. So
yeah, we call that, it's becoming a part of their inherent being. You know, it's, yeah, you just do it so much, and you just do it, and it's the right thing to do.
right.
How hard is it though? Because doesn't the government make it hard for you to do ceremonies?
Not too much anymore. You know, I know in years past, you know, because it was even against the law until the 70s when, you know, the Freedom of Religion Act came back into effect. But I don't really see that a lot. But what I see the government doing these last few years now, and even the last 2 years rather prevalently, they're showing up at powwows, and the feds are, I mean, they'll ask dancers, you know, flat right out, hey, where'd you get those feathers? Do you have, do you have documentation that you got those correctly? You know, and
let's explain, Richie, to everybody that, and when you're talking about feathers, you're not talking about ordinary feathers. You're talking about hawk feathers, owl feathers, eagle feathers. And because, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that they're protected birds in the government's eyes, that you are not allowed to have any of those feathers. So if you see a hawk or an eagle drops one right in front of you, you are not allowed to pick it up unless you are a Native American Indian.
Correct. Yes, and you have to and it's a process. You have to apply, through the U.S. Fish and Game in the Eagle Repository Department, and there's a waiting time and list because you can order them, and actually I have placed an order, and I got all of the return stuff, and when they become available, then yes, they'll get sent to you. But the other thing is that what makes it difficult and challenging, I was given my first feather when I was 14 years old, and I still have it. But I don't have any paperwork on that particular feather. So what the federal government did as a negotiated element of that whole procedure, quite simply, they made a way or established a way that the ownership of those then were grandfathered in. And but again, when I talk about the ownership of the feathers and that type of language, traditionally speaking, a lot of us look and say, well, we don't own the feathers. We're just the caretakers. We're here to do what we can in the best way to make sure all those things stay proper and they're done. There's things you need to always do with them. You got to care for them. You got to clean them. You got to pray, and so it's not just a thing where cool, man. I got an eagle feather. That's not it. And even to earn one and be gifted one, that's the highest honor that we as Indian people can ever receive.
Right. Let me ask you a question. And I don't, out of the three, the owl, the hawk, and the eagle, could you give me an example how somebody would actually earn a hawk feather or earn an owl feather or earn, an eagle feather?
Well, before I answer that, let me preface it this way. We don't have a manual or a handbook that says, okay, you do this and you do that, and then you're going to get an eagle feather. that's non-existent. Okay, that's not part of it. The decision to honor someone comes from the person or persons who want to honor someone. And it could be for almost any reason. Now, of course, our veterans who come home from the war, it's almost like a given, and it's just always there that when they complete their service and they come home, and there are sometimes set ceremonies, and they are awarded an eagle feather for their service to the country and to their people and our people because of their sacrifice. And again, sometimes those sacrifices are the ultimate sacrifice. And so that's one way. Now, I'll use myself for an example, and I'm only going to use it myself as an example just to try to, in the best way I can, to make a point. Okay, I've been gifted feathers since I was a young feller, and that's amazing to me. You know, I'm not a veteran. You know, I didn't serve in any war or anything, but I've been gifted feathers from people in Canada, out west, here in our state, and I was just gifted one a few years back. We were actually at a conference, and again, I do a lot of work with the mascot logo issue and stereotyping and the whole shot, and so we were at this conference, and it was the last day of the conference, and then the gentleman that was like in charge of the conference, and he says, "Well, we have some special gifts and some special things to happen here," he says, and so he introduced one of the other people that had put the conference together, but this gentleman and I we're childhood friends. We grew up together, and he's a veteran, and he's a Vietnam era vet. And so he got up and he says, a very special presentation right now, he says. And he said, I'm holding in my hand here, he says, an eagle feather. And he says, and for those of you who are here who don't know the significance, he said, all I'm going to tell you real briefly is, he says, is that to be gifted an eagle feather is the highest honor that we as Indian people say we can receive. And he says, and so I want to gift someone here. He said, and the reason that I'm gifting this person, he says, that because his whole life he has dedicated his self and his time and his efforts, not only in education, he said, but to carry on our traditions, and he carries those. And he says, and because I'm a veteran, I'm able to do this. And I talked to some other of my elders, and they're all in support. And he says, so to show our honoring to him and his and hopefully, to show our support for his continued work, then he called my name, which blew me away. I mean, I was like taken back. I was just like, wow, and so, yeah, I mean, it's so I guess the easiest way, again, not to diminish any other nation or any other recipient of a feather, it can be anything from giving your life in the service to serving your community and your friends and family to, reinventing a new wheel. I mean, I guess it's kind of like that old saying, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And when it comes to our culture, a lot of times, really, again, not to diminish anything, but when these gestures and these gifts are made, they're made with the most time-honored thoughts, traditions, and prayers. And so when you receive them, it's even that more special. And so that's why I always, I'm just, again, I'm a big stickler for, I'm honored to be there when someone does get gifted, because that is a very special time. And so, yeah, that's the best I can do with that one.
And okay. That was beautiful. Let's just also explain to people really quick that, you are allowed to have these things, and now the government is coming in and really harassing you. And when I was in California, I've known natives that had eagle feathers where the government would come into their homes and find it and then use that as a reason to confiscate everything they have.
Yep. Sure. Yeah. Exactly. Yep. That was, like you're saying, and to make it even, I guess, more blatant or straight up, is that, again, it's that's that controlling thing, that's that government thing of saying, okay, I usually make that gesture with my thumb, that say, we're in control, and you're under our thumb, and here's what we're going to do, and we can do this because we're the government, and that has gone on since the Europeans came here, and it's still going on, and what's I also think that today, I mean, like, even because I read one more again today, to show you how disrespectful non-natives can be. Again today, Donald Trump called Senator Warren again, called her Pocahontas, and he's been doing that for the longest time, and then he referred to her as a racist, and he said, and that's why I use that term. He said, Pocahontas. He says, and I even read where he got challenged by someone at some gathering on using the name Pocahontas, that's offensive, and Donald Trump said, well, yeah, he said, and it's offensive to Pocahontas because she was someone special. Now, to me, in the national media, and here's a man who actually is trying to become the president of the United States, and he's using language in these terms, and nobody's challenging him on it. And sometimes I think it's just because and he'll tell you, I'm Donald Trump, I can say and do whatever I want. But you know what?
I understand. Oops, sorry, go ahead.
And if I step forward and started using that kind of terminology about our president or about anybody else who may be of a different culture, man, I have hell to pay. So again, I ask whoever society is, because I always get told a lot of times, well, society says this and society says that. And I've said for so many years, I sure would like to know who society is. I'd like to talk to that person, because how come so many of these rich white yuppie people can get away with that stuff, and then what's more amazing, there's other people that support them and say, yep, go get them. So
that's low
it hasn't changed.
consciousness. It's low
Right.
consciousness. People are not connected to the creator. And I have to tell you, I don't know if you remember a couple of months back, there was some guy in the audience, and Donald Trump was really getting down on Muslims and stuff like that. And he threatened to punch a man out because the man, was standing up for Muslims. And all he did was have a big sign saying, don't say stuff like this. This is not okay. This is racist. And my God, I go to find out that it was Elliot Adams, who I've had on my show, and he was a past president for Veterans for Peace, and he also works for the Meta Peace team, and he goes to places where to bring peace into areas, but he also holds and stands for truth. So you got Donald Trump out there, and that just shows you what money can buy. An idiot that runs for the White House because he's doing it with his own money.
Exactly.
Please gag me.
See, and that's the other thing I can't understand is that, was it last week or the week before, they say that his campaign is running out of money, and I'm going, well, I thought he's been saying all the while he's paying for his own campaign, so, where's that coming from? And then then you got to stop it. You got to stop and think, well, then, has he been pulling everybody's leg since then? Because, he hasn't been on any reservation. And even I think, he's tried to piggyback on to when he went out and made a deal with some tribe out in California for a casino many years ago, and that flopped and whatever. But so many of us know how he feels about Indians and Indian law and everything else, and so it's like, yeah, why doesn't America understand that? And then, so, and I guess I can come up with my own answers and be pretty close, but
Well, we're
it
talking about people
just
that are
amazing.
not awakened, and they're definitely not enlightened, because if they were, they would look at him and go, "Oh my God, get the crap out of here. We can't listen
Yeah,
to you." And how you
yep,
try to drum up really dark energy. But again, this is what the government does. And this is how they get people to vote who they want us to vote for, like cattle. They give you someone, who they give us the last time? Sarah Palin and McCain. And they made Obama, who didn't say anything other, yeah, we want change. And that was it. It was like saying, I'm the chosen people, and never finished the sentence. Chosen to be what? We want
yeah,
change for what? Okay, so
right,
they know how to manipulate. And that's what they've done this year. They've given us, ooh, yeah,
yeah,
Trump.
yeah,
And then what?
yeah.
They're trying to push Hillary forward, and they're doing it in such a way that they keep getting caught with illegal ballots, one right after another. I mean, it's amazing. Anyway,
Yeah.
so much for that. Yeah,
Right.
we're into politics, aren't we?
Well, and again though, what's you know, right, wrong, or different, that's America, and even on reservations, um, politics are alive and well, and again, it's just it's part of the culture. It's part of America, and you have to learn. You have to learn how to. I think you got to learn how to deal with it and how to coexist with it, because again, it's here. And so yeah, I I guess we kind of got off the beaten track. But again, though, if you look at it and you look at history, and then you look at how our ancestors addressed that, and I think they addressed it quite simply and just said, we don't want you people here. We were
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
really good before you got here. So how come we have to listen to you? And what makes you think you got everything right? So yeah, it's like,
Well,
yeah,
let me ask you another question, because, this is on the same line. Um, does Native American youth experience a lot of racism?
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I got so many stories, and I think one of the most powerful ones was there's a private school here in Green Bay. It's a private Catholic school, and a few years back, this lady called me and asked me for some guidance and assistance, and again, instead of going through the whole story minute by minute, what wound up happening is that her daughter, again, is at this private Catholic school here in Green Bay, and it was before class, and they're just sitting around waiting for class to start, and some of her classmates were talking about an issue that was on the news that had to deal with the Oneida tribe. And again, the Oneida tribe is, basically on the west side of Green Bay. Well, one of the young men in that class made a comment about Indians, but of course he used a word that a lot of young people use that they think is cool, and everybody started laughing, and then it kind of deteriorated from there. Now, this young girl, and this will sound kind of odd, this young girl, it was like literally the first time in her life she had ever heard anything like that. And so when class was done, she went to go see her counselor. And when the But when she got down to the office, the counselor that she always spoke to wasn't there that day. But she was really in a bad way. And so the other counselor says, well, can I help you with what's going on? So this young girl is now in tears, and she starts telling this counselor lady, what had gone on in the classroom. And she said, and I don't think it's right that they should use that kind of language and talk about Indians that way in the whole shot. And the counselor told this young girl, don't worry about it. Boys will be boys. And so this young girl's mother had gotten a hold of me and says, I don't know how to deal with that. And so anyway, I wound up calling the principal, had a great talk with the principal, and then what the principal did was had me come in with the exhibit, and I was on campus for 2 days, and then teachers brought their students down for the exhibit, and then on my second day there, he actually brought all of the Native students together for lunch, and then myself and him, the principal, we sat down all together and had lunch together. And the significance of that is that as I was talking with this young girl, I said, well, how many Indians are at your school? And she looked at her mom and she said, I think there's just me and one other guy, And when we went to lunch that day, because he had told me, he said, I'd like to, if it's okay with you, he said, I'd like to invite all of the other Native students down, to be part of that lunch. I said, hey, that'll be great. And 14 students showed up. And all of a sudden, these kids are sitting there looking at each other, and some of them were kind of giggling and going, well, I didn't know you were Indian, and I didn't know you were Oneida, and I didn't know you were this. And so again, it's even that visual thing that the kids go through, because they get told by their classmates sometimes, and their classmates tell them, well, you don't look Indian, and I never knew you were Indian, and so yeah, and that's why I wrote a poem many, many years ago, and it's called "What Does Your Indian Look Like?" Because there's people say we should look a certain way, and if we don't look that way, then we're not Indian. And the kids, man, they have to deal with that straight up, and that's really tough. It really sucks. And so that's why I try to come in and then reinforce, be proud of who you are. If you have any questions, ask. And no, they deal with it. And I'll give you one more example that is very, very graphic, but I can share it with you. And again, my two of my grandsons play lacrosse up here with the Oneida youth lacrosse teams. And a couple of years ago down at Milwaukee at Indian Summer Festival, and they always have a lacrosse tournament down there. And I was literally getting ready to go on stage to perform, and my son showed up. And I turned around and said, hey, what's up? And then he says, Dad, I got to tell you what happened at the lacrosse game just now. He says, and he pointed, and my grandson was there, and he says, Christopher and I were playing, this team from Milwaukee. He said, and even before Indian Summerfest, he said that coach of that team in Milwaukee said, well, we don't, when he found out they were going to play the team from Oneida, he told the people from Indian Summerfest, he says, we don't want to play a team where it's just a glorified practice. We've been in tournaments and we do this and we do that, blah, blah. To which the people at Indian Summer said, well, hey, these young boys from Oneida, I mean, they're in the league, they've played tournaments and yeah, it's, whatever. So anyway, my grandson's team was literally just whipping these guys, I mean, yeah, just beating the snot out of them. And so my son said that as the coaches started putting different players in, one of my grandson's teammates come over to come on the sideline, and he walked up to the coach and he said, "Hey, coach," he says, "what does wagon burner mean?" And he said, "What did you say?" And he said, "What does wagon burner mean?" And he said, and the coach says, "Why would you even ask me that?" And he pointed, and he said, "That's what all them guys out there are calling us." And he said, "Who's calling you that?" And he said, "All them guys on that team out there." Well, what happened is that, again, because the Oneida boys were just whipping up on these guys, I mean, they're shutting them out, the coach on that team and the adults on that team started telling their young players to start calling all the players on the team my grandson plays on. Again, they're from the reservation, they're all Oneida.
Oh, I just want to say, these are people from Wisconsin, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And they
Wisconsin, hold your head in shame. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, and they started calling them wagon burners, and I mean, it got to be, and I'm just minutes away from having to go on stage to perform, and I turned to my grandson and I went, "You call that?" And he looked at me and he and he went, "Yeah," because these kids, they don't know, right? I mean, that's why they asked. And so anyway, and it got to be a pretty heavy issue, and so there's a couple examples of what our youth are going through daily up here. But again, I will say this though, and in all honesty, with the traveling that I've done, I've got stories like that from all over the country. I do. And that's the part that makes it really, really difficult for our young people.
I think I read on one of the Indian sites where they were part of the Dene tribe, which, if you don't know what Dene means, it's Navajo. And they were wrestling. They were wrestling, and they were like 8-10-year-olds. And the crowd just started, being very racist and calling them really nasty names. To me, that is so shameful. And it's like, people, where in the hell is your sportsmanship?
Well, yeah, exactly.
What are you teaching your children?
Yep.
To be racist and have absolutely no morals and no sportsmanship? No, and I have to say, that I think that was in Arizona. And was it Arizona, Wisconsin? Hang your head in shame.
Yeah. So I still say this, racism and discrimination is alive and well in the United States, and you don't need to look any further than our nation's capital with the name of their football team, So yeah, there you go.
We probably have maybe 3 minutes left, Richie. If people want to get a hold of you and communicate with you, how can they do it?
The easiest way is email, and my email is just my name. It's Richie Plass at yahoo.com, which is RICHIEPLASS at yahoo.com. Or feel free to give me a call. My cell is 920-615-6558. And what's really funny? To me, it's funny. Some people say I shouldn't laugh at it, but I've been told your email address is your name. And I go, yeah. Well, somebody might say, or somebody might do this and whatever, and you should do, you should change this and change that. And I always giggle and go, yeah, I'm right here, man. You got anything you want to say? I'm right here. I ain't got nothing to hide.
Well, you're a teacher, it's like you want people to find you. And I do the same thing. People go, well, how do I get a hold of you on Skype? I go, Cathy Bilsky. I go, can I get any easier? I go, I want you to find me, okay?
Yep. Yeah. But that's it. That's the easiest way to get a hold of me, for sure. Yep.
Richie, I really, really appreciate you coming on and agreeing to make this a monthly segment on my
Sure.
show.
And before we go, I just want to say again, I want to say aloha to Walita and to little Lillian and Evan and Brandon and the Admiral and Tara. That's my family down in, because they're in Hawaii. So I would want to say hi to them. So thank you. And I'm honored. I am. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's mutually beneficial. You know, people really, really respect you. And, you know, I don't use the term elder and throw that around. I think that's an honor. And I
Oh, yeah.
also believe the older you get, hopefully, the more wisdom you have. And
Exactly. Yep.
I'm chuckling. Okay.
No, I am too. I am too.
Oh.
Because I remember the first time when it was called an elder, actually up on our res, and I kind of looked around and I went, wow, that's, so yeah. It's like, yep.
Well, I went to Africa, and it's like, you know, you guys consider anybody over 50 an elder. So it's like, all right, I'm an elder. That means you got to carry something for me. It comes with perks when you're around young people. You let them do the work, and you throw the elder right in their face. It's like, I'm 63. You're 30. You can do this.
Yep.
What are they going to say other than you just look so good that, you know, we forget. Anyway,
Yep.
you're going to be on again next month, Richie. So you
Yep.
have a great month, and we'll talk to you soon.
Too. You betcha. All right.
All right. Aloha. Well, aloha, everybody. Welcome back to the second hour of Cathy Bilsky, and this is the Quantum Leap Let Light Unite show on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. And Revolution Radio is listener sponsored. No one gets paid for doing these shows and programs and keeping everything running. So we really, really do depend on the donations from all of you and your generosity. So just go to Revolution Radio's website, and they have a donation button. Oh my God, how easy can it be? Press it and, you know, do something lovely. And remember, that's how one of the laws work. As you give, you also receive. Because as you give, you are creating space for the universe to give you something lovely back. So go for the gusto. And again, and they also have some really groovy products on their website that help support them. And you still have seeds? See if Liz is listening. They do have seeds, and you can also buy our old shows, which supports everybody. And we do have some really cool shows. And if you want to learn more about me, oh God, go to my website at www.angelliteom.com. That's ANGELITEOM.com. And I have all my Angel Light healing products there. I have the curse removal that you can listen to and download for free. And that you get to by looking under free healing. And I have a couple books, and one of the books you can download for free, Book of Spiritual Basics, and it's just helping you remember what you've forgotten, right? And also there's energy work on there. We also still have the Enlightened Movement 2016 still going. We're not quite there yet, are we, guys? So go to the website, enlightenmentmovement2016.shutterfly.com, and let's manifest world enlightenment. All right, that's out there. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus, and some other sites I'm on. Oh my God, I need a secretary. Now, if you go to the website for the Enlightenment Movement 2016, I put on there every day the prayers, the Enlightenment group focus of the day, and everybody can join in. And the more that join in, the quicker that we're going to go into enlightenment. And if you think your job as an activist is really hard, I'm sure it is. But once we are and have the world into world enlightenment, and everybody is reconnected to the Creator, and then they know better, everything else will fall into your place. And your job will get easier. I promise that. I mean, that's a given. If people are awakened and they're connected to the Creator, they know better, and they're going to want to harmonize with you and not fight you. Think about that. Just a thought. So what we're going to do this hour, we're going to do the energy balancing and curse removal and clear out stuff that you no longer need that's in your life that's stopping you from moving forward. And then we're going to get right into that and do some energy work for the bees and for the European Union to keep that disbandment going. And nice going, Brits, for leaving the European Union. And of course, we're going to give energy to my old friend, and I say that tongue-in-cheek, Governor Snyder from Michigan, who is one of the most evilest people on the planet. He is really destroying Michigan, and he's hurting and harming people. How reptilian. Oh, my God. And he is the one who is responsible for the lead in the water that Flint people drink. And then, of course, we can also add, when we're doing that, the Bureau of Land Management and how they're treating the American Indians, the Native Americans. I mean, so we're going to add them in too. So let's get going. So for those of you that are going to participate, first we're going to do the curse removal, energy balancing, and, just make you feel better. So put your feet flat on the ground, and if you can, sit so your spine is straight up. And put your head up, put your hands in your lap like you're going to receive, and uncross anything, all right? Because when you cross your legs, you're actually stopping the energy from flowing, and we don't want you to blow up, okay? And I'm just kidding on that. But you want the energy to keep flowing, all right? So I want you to start taking some gentle deep breaths, but not so you hyperventilate on me. And as you breathe in, imagine you're breathing in light and you're exhaling out everything that no longer serves you. So you breathe in light and exhale out everything that no longer serves you. And imagine that energy going through the violet flame back to God, and you fill up with your divine essence. So I just want you to do that until I tell you to stop. And as you're doing that, I'm going to surround each and every one of you in a bubble of golden flame. I add to that the blue flame of protection, the violet flame of transmutation, the green flame of healing, and I seal you in the pink flame of love. So we're going to call to your teachers, guides, masters, and all the divine beings that are working around you, and your ancestors, and invite them in to make this energy work as gentle, loving, and kind as we can. So take one more deep breath, and as you exhale, release anything negative or stuck in your body that no longer serves you, and allow that energy to go through the violet flame back to God, and you fill up with your divine essence. As you're doing that, now I want you to imagine this incredible healing energy coming down from God, coming into the top of your head, and allow that energy to flow out your third eye. And feel that just clear up and maybe a little pressure coming from it. And now allow that energy to flow down and allow it to flow out of your throat chakra. And feel that open and expand, and just the energy flow, and it gets warm and fuzzy. And now feel that energy flow downward. So now it comes out of your heart chakra. And feel that energy flow through your heart chakra. Feel it expand, and you might feel a little pressure there, and it might just feel warm and fuzzy. And now feel that energy flow a little bit farther, and feel it come out of your solar plexus. And feel it clear out any energy that you've taken on that doesn't serve you, that frightens you, scares you, any worries, concerns. And as you breathe in light and you exhale that energy, it flows out of that solar plexus, clears it up. And now you might feel a little pressure, and it might get a little warm and fuzzy. And now feel that energy flow down a little farther, and feel it come out of your belly button chakra. And now feel it flow down a little farther, and feel that energy come out of your root chakra. And now allow that energy to flow all the way down your legs and out your feet, down your arms and out your hands. Let it flow down your spine. Let it flow through your hair. And you should be feeling a little bit lighter. So I want you to take one more deep breath, and as you exhale this time, allow yourself to release any of your dark or negative energy that's maybe left in your body. And as you exhale, feel it all let go, and it goes through the violet flame back to God. And you're going to fill up with your divine essence. As you're doing that, I called Michael the Archangel to come forth and cut all ties to any energy you've taken on that's not yours, whether it's from a friend, relative, acquaintance, stranger, anybody you work with, TV set, animal, whatever the karmic reason is that created anything out of balance in your life or your body today. And as all that unwanted energy is peeled off of you gently like an onion skin, it all goes through the violet flame back to God, and you fill up with your divine essence. And now I want Michael to come forth, cut all ties to reptile, dinosaur energy, secret societies, organized religion. Cut all ties to any oaths, vows, curses, hexes, rituals that could have been done to you or your family, going backwards and forwards, hundreds of thousands of generations, or anything you could have done, consciously or unconsciously. And as all that unwanted energy too is peeled off of you gently like an onion skin, it all goes through the violet flame back to God, and you fill up with more of your divine essence. And now I want Michael to come forth, cut all ties to any effigies that have been misused against you. That's any elemental of yours that was used to hurt you or anyone, including anything you own. Clothes, hair, picture, your name spoken, written, just thought of, or anything you have your energy on. And as ties to all those elementals are cut, I call the violet flame through them to clean it up, the angel light energy to heal. We fill them up with love, and I command them to be neutral or only emit love. And now I want Michael to come forth, remove any energy implants that have been done to you or anything that could have carried over from any other lifetime because of dark magic, voodoo, dark witchcraft, or just even dark thoughts. So I want that's directed your way. So I want the stick, pin, needle, or knife that's in your crown chakra removed from your third eye, your throat, heart, solar plexus, belly button, root, feet, hands, spine, your eyes, ears, nose, mouth, hips, teeth, anywhere in your body that's out of balance. And as you feel all those pins, needles, and knives being very gently removed, imagine all those spaces immediately fill up with the violet flame to clean it up, the angel light energy to heal. We fill all those spaces up with love, and you keep filling up with more of your divine essence. And now I want Michael to come forth, cut all ties to patriarchy, genocide, rape, incest, slavery, prostitution, persecution, circumcision, removing any energy overlay that's trying to manipulate you, keeping you from connecting with God, healing yourself, being really successful, fulfilling all your divine missions, and living your life in joy. And as all that unwanted energy is gently peeled off of you like an onion skin that no longer serves you, we send it through the violet flame back to God, and you fill up with more of your divine essence. And now I want Michael to come forth, cut all ties to patriarchy, again, genocide, rape, incest, anything that's keeping you from connecting with the Creator, any overlays, anything that's keeping you from being happy and fulfilling your missions. Feel it being peeled off. We send it through the violet flame back to God, and you keep filling up with your divine essence. So if there is anybody out there that's directing any kind of dark energy at you, or your family, or your business, your animals, we're going to ask them to stop. Because if they're doing it to you, they are doing it to others. And ask them to step forward in the light. And if they choose not to continue, they ask their higher selves and their guardian angels to put them in a position of harmlessness. We surround them in a bubble of mirror. The mirror faces them 2 inches from their nose. And as long as they do that dark work, that energy stays contained in that bubble of mirror. And I put the violet flame in the bubble of mirror to transmute any of that dark energy. And the bubble of mirror stays up 24/7, 365 days a year until they do works of good. So I call to your higher self, and I'm going to ask your higher self to activate your divine blueprint for perfect health, and that it starts manifesting in your body now. So while you're in this very sacred space, we're going to start doing some energy work for the earth and all divine beings that live on her. So feel yourself reconnect with the Creator and feel all that energy come pouring into your body. Now see yourself in this huge stadium. Everyone around you is a light worker, and everyone's got this energy coming through them, down through their bodies, and they're receiving healings, and it's raising their energy, and it's coming through their heart, and they're directing it toward the middle of the stadium. And we're going to create a bubble of light, and under this bubble of light, we're going to put this huge 10-ton crystal to amplify the work we do. All right, so I want you to take a gentle, deep breath and feel that energy flow through your body, down your arm, out your hands, out your heart. And it's going to go into the center. We're going to form a bubble of light. And this is going to be a power prayer for the bees. In the name of the presence of God, which I am, through the magnetic power of the sacred fire vested in me, I command. We're going to put this power prayer in this bubble. I call to Michael the Archangel and ask that ties are cut between the bees and all microwave technology, that people become aware that microwave energy is causing the bee colonies to collapse. As they become aware, they choose to use their cell phones less, shutting them off completely when not in use, or going back to landlines with the understanding that we need bees to pollinate over 40% of our crops. We surround all the hives in a protective energy shield that keeps out all microwave energy. We send energy to all the bees and ask that their DMT is enhanced. And as they are reconnected to the Creator, we see the bees becoming more focused and at one with each other as the queen bee is inspired to what she needs to do to hold the colony together as one functioning unit. We send a mild grounding energy to the bees so they become more centered, allowing each worker to do their jobs in harmony with each other. We violet flame all the propolis to clean it up, and as we reconnect this to the Creator, it acts as a protection, an antibiotic for the bees so they become healthier every time they come in contact with it in the hive. We ask Michael the Archangel to cut all ties to all mites the bees have that is making them ill. We violet flame these mites to clean up their energies, reconnecting them to the Creator. Now we command them to be neutral and die off, which allows the bees to become stronger and healthier. We ask the bees that the bees are now inspired to go where there are no GMO crops. Instead, being guided to healthy plants and flowers. We see people now growing more organic herbal gardens for the bees that will enhance their immune systems. We see people being inspired to leave out fresh water for the bees and planting red and purple flowers that bees really enjoy the vibrations of. We call the higher selves of all beekeepers, asking that they now practice holistic beekeeping, leaving the bees with enough of their own supply of honey so they can also feed themselves with the fruits of their own labor, not using pesticides on the bees to kill off the mites or any other health issues they have. Instead, growing healthier crops and giving the bees time and trusting that they will develop a natural immunity resistance over the multiple generations with their new organic farming methods that we are now asking the divine to inspire them with. We are now sending energy to the queen bee that will inspire her to hold the hive together in harmony. We are now sending energy to the bee's life force so they become healthy and multiply. Let's give thanks and send out much love to the bees for all they have given us, our plant life and crops, as well as all the byproducts we use, including beeswax for candles and, of course, honey. Nevertheless, that hour will, but thy will be done. Fill this up with light and love and take a deep breath and release it. So take a deep breath now. Again, feel yourself reconnect to the Creator, and as you exhale, that energy is pouring out of your body into the center, forming another bubble of light over the 10-ton crystal. And in this bubble of light, we're going to put a power prayer to disband the European Union in all commissions. In the name of the presence of God, which I am, through the magnetic power of the sacred fire vested in me, I command. I call to Michael the Archangel to cut all ties to the European Union has to their thoughts of controlling the planet. We ask that all veils of invisibility and protection be removed from this commission. As the veils are removed, the masses see truth and are given all the divine inspiration needed to correct all the damages the EU has done. We ask the Goddess of Truth to bring up to the surface all secret plans and agendas the EU Commissions has and is trying to manifest on the planet. We ask all the commissioners to step forward in the light of God and do works for the planet and all life forms. And if they choose not to, which is their free will, we ask their higher selves and guardian angels to put them all in positions of harmlessness, and their positions are simply no longer needed. We cut ties to all oaths, vows, and satanic rituals they say to keep themselves in power. We flame this energy to clean it up, then reconnect it all to the Creator. Now we see the satanic energy neutralizing itself, and their power diminishes to nothing. Let there be much infighting between them so they are able to do nothing or agree on anything. Let all their plans fall apart and fail. We cut all ties between the Commission and Monsanto. As this is done, Monsanto and all their GMO crops are removed from all countries. We remove all satanic veils of control over all countries that make up the European Union. As the veils are removed, we see the people reconnecting to the Creator, becoming awakened spiritual beings, seeing clearly what these controlling groups are trying to do and make their elected officials pull out of the European Union. We see all the countries in the Union refusing to follow any guidelines or laws coming from any EU commissioner, closing down all their offices, disbanding the Union, taking away all their illusions of power. See all these countries regaining their sovereign rights back now. And again, nevertheless, not our will, but thy will be done. And take a deep breath and release it. So again, feel that divine energy flow down. We're going to form another bubble of light. And in this bubble, we're going to put the power of prayer, putting Governor Snyder and Michigan Republican Party in a position of harmlessness, and that includes the Bureau of Land Management. We call to Michael the Archangel to cut all ties that Governor Snyder and the Republican Party have to any black magic and the BLM, Bureau of Land Management, that is keeping them in power. We cut all ties to all their money sources, including the Koch brothers. We send this money energy back to God to clean it up. Now let's send all those money sources back to the poor and those that are standing up to the government, including all recall groups like Michigan Rising and Michigan Teachers Association and unions. We ask that these groups receive lots of donation and excited fresh volunteers to make the recall and prison time for Snyder successful, replacing Snyder with a compassionate, kind, awakened spiritual being. And we ask the divine beings to protect all those beings that are standing up to Snyder. We command you, Michael, to protect them. We see Snyder being recalled, removed from office, and going to prison now. We see Snyder being recalled, removed from office, and going to prison now. We see Snyder being recalled, removed from office, and going to prison now. If it's for his highest good and for the good of everyone in Michigan, let Snyder be sent to prison for all his crimes against the people of Michigan. We cut all ties to all executive orders that Governor Snyder has written and retained in the office of the Great Seal. We flame them to clean up all the dark energies. Now we reconnect all these orders to the Creator and command them to be neutral. No more forward movement. All black magic giving this energy being canceled, cleared, and neutralized. We now see all Governor Snyder's executive orders being rolled back and stricken from the books. We cut all ties to Snyder's 180-day agenda, and as this is done, all forward movement stops, dissolving the 180-day agenda completely. We cut all ties to Snyder's vision of reinventing Michigan. We see this energy having all forward movements stopped, also dissolving completely. We cut all ties to the energy of Snyder's relentless positive action. Again, seeing this energy dissolving to nothing with no more forward movement. We cancel clear Snyder's new emergency financial managers law that allows for corporation to make land grabs from the poor. We see this energy also being neutralized and dissolved to nothing. No more forward movement. Let this land be returned to their rightful owners. We call the higher selves of Governor Snyder and all Republicans trying to keep him in power to step forward in the light of God, stop acting like Nazi reptilians, leave all the social programs and citizens' rights intact, and roll back all laws that hurt the mass general public. Clean up the water in Flint and any other water source that is polluted from your wrongdoing. If you choose not to, which is your free will, I ask your higher selves and guardian angels to put you all in positions of harmlessness, letting awakened spiritual beings take your place. And if that means you are recalled, then may the recall gain lots of forward momentum now. We call the Snyder's higher self and ask that he leave the small farmers and unions alone. And if he chooses to continue the harassment, I ask his higher self and guardian angel to put Snyder and all his rich supporters in positions of harmlessness now. We call the higher selves of all law enforcement to also reconnect to the Creator, and as to become awakened spiritual beings, they see through the governor's plans and choose not to cooperate, siding with the people. Let them become more conscious of all the income and benefits the governor has taken from them, choosing instead to become the protector of the poor, standing down on all orders that is against the Constitution. This brings them much joy and pride as they become good cops. We see Snyder being recalled and removed from office and going to prison now. We see Snyder being recalled, removed from office, and going to prison now. We see Snyder being recalled and removed from office and going to prison now. If it's for Snyder's highest good, that his karma is returned to him now for what he has done, including his loss of money, all supporters of any kind, and all power. Let the magic of protection be removed from him from around him, his plans, his supporters, now. If it's for his highest good and for the good of everyone in Michigan, let Snyder be sent to prison for all his crimes against the people of Michigan. We see Governor Snyder being replaced with an awakened spiritual being who will correct the harm that Snyder has done. If Governor Snyder has earned prison time for his actions, I ask that the law of karma be put into action and Snyder receive his just rewards, time 100,000-fold. I step out of the way as it's returned to Governor Snyder and all rich Michigan Republicans and Democrats that are supporting Snyder. We see them all being removed from the office in a way no one will be hurt or harmed. So be it. All right, fill that up with lots of light and love. And take a big deep breath and exhale it out. All right, again, feel that divine energy flow down through you, through your heart, down your arms, out your hands, through every pore of your being, forming another bubble of light. And in this bubble of light, we're going to put the power of prayer of cutting ties that binds earth and humanity to Satan. Let there be light in the name of the presence of God, which I am, through the magnetic power of the sacred fire vested in me, I command. We call to Michael the Archangel to take his sword of blue flame and cut all ties. Oh my goodness. Hold on. Let me call you back on my radio and give me a half hour. Okay. No, can't talk right now. Ooh. All right, so let there be light in the name of the presence of God, which I am, through the magnetic power of the sacred fire vested in me, I command. We call to Michael the Archangel to take his sword of blue flame and cut ties to all magic around all life forms, organic, inorganic, including all movie stars, all singers and illusion makers, the music, TV, movie, cable, and radio communication fields, politicians, leaders, and decision makers, plants, and animals worldwide. Anyone who will sacrifice their spiritual values for power, knowledge, or material gain, a Phautasian pact. This includes all skin this magic is written on, no matter where Satan keeps it hidden. This ties to all satanic black magic and pacts that were made with Satan. We call the violet flame to clean up all that dark energy, and then we send the angel light energy to heal it, then fill it up with the Creator's divine love. We command the skins and parchments to now be neutral, only emitting love. I call upon the fire elemental to blaze and burn in all the vaults of Satan and everywhere these skins and parchments of magic are kept. Let the flame do the final cleansing. I now see the satanic vaults, ethereal or in physical, in flame, and burning till all skins and parchments that contracts are written on are in ashes. All trusts are hereby dissolved through the sacred trust that God has with humans to set us free. We cut all black magic, satanic ties and binds Satan has placed on all life forms, souls, and planet Earth, going back to the time when Satan was cast out of heaven. Through this present time and future of our planet, the ties and binds to this energy and all souls are now cut free from your bondage. Satan owns no one. The people of this planet all have their very own direct link to God, the Creator, thus in charge of all dominion on the planet. You do not own the world, humans, nor any souls on the planet or anywhere. We can manage our own sacred trust with the Creator ourselves. Satan, you're fired. We now reconnect all these souls to the Creator, helping them become awakened, conscious, spiritual beings. We cut the ties to all of Satan's trusts he set up, claiming all real estate is his, then binding that in magic. We again cut the ties with this trust, called the violet flame, to clean it up, the angel light energy to heal. Then we reconnect it to God. Now we command it to be neutral, to only emit love. We call forth the fire elemental to burn this magic and all it is written on to ashes. This trust is hereby dissolved by the light of God, the Creator, and everything that is holy. We cut all ties to Satan and all trust that makes people slaves. We again cut the ties to this magic and the bondage of it with Satan. We call the violet flame through it to clean up the energy, angel light to heal it. Then we reconnect to the Creator, commanding it to be neutral. We again call the fire elemental to blaze through this magic till it is cleansed by fire to ashes and dust. I see the storage vaults, physical or etheric and physical flame now. We now see all veils and overlays over all souls being removed, allowing everyone to reconnect to their higher selves, becoming awakened spiritual beings, fully aware of their divine missions and divine purposes. We cut all ties with the trust called Sis Qui Vi, claiming all souls to Satan and the Catholic Church. And as these ties are cut, we call the violet flame to clean it up and the angel light energy to heal. We fill it up with the Creator's love, and we command it to be neutral, to only emit love. I call to the fire elemental to burn the skin. It's written on until in ashes. See all souls being set free again, becoming awakened spiritual beings. We cut all ties and magical contracts Satan had with the Roman Vatican Church Empire and with Hitler. All concordats are now dissolved by the violet flame, healed in angel light, and reconnected to the Creator, now becoming neutral or only emitting love. This energy of the First through the Fourth Reich is now dissolved. We call the higher selves of all beings worshiping Satan, past, present, future, to step forward in the light of God and renounce Satan, all lies, deceptions, chaos, and wars you create. If you choose not to, which is your free will, we call your higher self and guardian angel to put you in positions of harmlessness now. We remove all veils and overlays you have placed on each other, cut the oaths you have taken together, binding you to each other and your projects, now removed and dissolved. For those who choose to stay with Satan, again, your free will, we place you in a bubble of mirror, the mirror facing you, so any dark energy you try and send out will stay contained. And we add the violet flame to cleanse this energy so it does not gain any strength. The bubble of mirror will stay up 24/7, 365 days a year from here through eternity. It will dissolve when you choose to work in the light of the Creator and not Satan. Until then, this bubble keeps you powerless. So be it. Again, nevertheless, that hour will be done. Fill this up with lots of light and love, and take a deep breath and release it. So again, feel that divine energy flow down. We're going to direct it toward the center. And then in this bubble of light, I want you to place anybody that you know that needs healing, body, mind, soul. And as we put them in the center, and put yourselves in this bubble of light, we're going to call to Michael and cut all ties to any energy you've taken on that's not yours. Any energy that's creating this out of balance and dis-ease. And as it's peeled off of everyone, we send it through the violet flame back to God, and everyone fills up with their divine essence. It goes into their heart and expands all the way through their body. Let them feel this divine healing. Let it bring joy. And if they need other modalities for healing, we call to their higher selves to bring it to them and help them become open to the modality that their higher self feels will work for them the best, and you. And we're also going to put in all your divine missions in this bubble and see this energy just giving everything positive and good out there. Positive forward movement. Everyone's divine missions, their divine purposes. Let's put all the light workers in this bubble. What the hey, right? And let them all feel this healing energy, and let everyone fill up with so much light that you're now magnetizing to yourself everything you need to fulfill your divine missions, to heal yourselves, to be joyful, and allow that energy to spread through the family and into your work environment. And let your energy be so high that when people come in contact with you, you just raise their energy. And it helps them reconnect to the Creator and they become joyful. What divine service! You don't even have to think about it. All right, fill this bubble up with light and love. Feel that energy just flow through your body. And now let's take a deep breath and release it. Wow, I don't know about you guys, but I am high. So we have got to ground. So for those of you who don't have your feet on the floor flat, please do. And I'm going to start calling the earth energy to come up your feet. We're going to start grounding. And as it comes up your feet, you're going to start getting a little bit heavier as your energies pull in. And now that energy is going up a little farther on your legs. So now you feel your calves are a little bit heavier. And you're coming down from the spacey high you're in. And as you take another deep breath, feel more of that earth energy just come up your body. And now it just flows down your arms, out your hands. And you also imagine yourself having hematite, stone hematite under your feet. And as you ground, you're becoming very clear-headed, very back in body, very balanced, open to new possibilities. Decisions come easy to you when you're peaceful. And feel yourself ground even more. Feel yourself come back in body, becoming a little bit heavier. And I mean on an energy-wise. Just to pull your energies back in a little bit more. Now, for those of you that are really high after the show is over, and I mean spacey high, and I don't mean pot, okay, energy high. I need you to do a couple of things. If you have the stone hematite, please go pick it up and hold it until you are no longer lightheaded. If you don't have that, I really highly recommend you getting some. And you can get that from your local rock shop, all right? And if not, I carry it in my rock shop in Hawaii. And I love to do shipping. Or you can go outside and go find a tree and put your hands on the tree and feel all of your excess energy going into the tree. And do that for, 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes, whatever makes you feel good. And then ask the tree to send you energy back. And you ground. And this is also a good exercise if you feel, you're going to get angry with somebody. Just walk away. Put that anger into the tree. The tree won't look at it as anger. It will just look at it that you're giving it an incredible energy goose. And it's loving it because you're sending energy to the tree's life force. And in return, you ask the tree to send you energy back, and you immediately ground. And then you're calm, and then you can go face your challenge again. How easy, right? And if you don't have that, go put your butt down outside and feel the earth. Send the energy into the earth through your feet, through your rear. Go eat something. That helps ground you. Or, some people find it's very, very relaxing to go take a nice bath, which I am going to do almost all of the above later. But it's important that you ground after we do this light work, because There's so many people listening. It amps up the energy that you're feeling. I cannot leave you in this really high altered space. It's my karma. And I don't want to accrue any more karma, negative karma. So it's important that you ground. Yeah, you don't want to walk around dysfunctional. And when you've got 35,000 people listening and they're all doing light work and womping the energy through, that's a lot of energy. Now, when I was in California and I was doing light circles around my big earth keeper, I had these young girls come in and, at the end of the circle, I said, all right, everybody ground. And they said, no, thank you. We don't want to ground. And at that time, I really didn't know any better. And I went, okay, not a problem. Your free will. Would I do that again? Oh, hell no. It's not that I'm a control freak. I just know better. Okay. Learn by doing, right? Well, they came back a week later going, oh my God, I won't ever leave without grounding after a light circle. She said they were up for 2 days. They had so much energy flow through them. Okay. Now, on the other hand, if you want to clean your house and get a lot of things put in order, that might be really cool for you, right? But, grounding is good. Even if you go get a massage, make sure that massage therapist grounds you in some way. They're putting you in this, well, they should be putting you in this really lovely altered state. And they shouldn't just throw you out after it's done and go, all right, now you are expected to function, when they just, supposedly should have made you feel pretty relaxed, and you should feel also very lightheaded. So it's stuff that you could become conscious of and be more aware of and correct it so nothing happens. Awareness is awesome. And for those of you that want to become more aware and actually develop your sensitivity, go get a crystal. Doesn't have to be a pretty crystal. Any crystal will do. But you want a crystal that has a pointy end and then like a flat on the bottom, because this means it's directional. So you're going to hold that crystal in your hand, and you're going to have the point going up your arm. And you can hold it, put your hand around it, and then you close your eyes and you pay attention to your hand. And what you might feel is it might get warm. It might start to sweat. Might feel pulses, which is all the crystal. And usually if you feel really strong pulses, it means it's a male crystal, where they do the energy surges. Or you might feel energy tingles going up your arm. And then you pay attention to all your chakras. The top of your head, your third eye, throat, heart, solar plexus, belly button, root, your hands, because you actually have 2, chakras in your hands, which the energy flows out of. And you have a couple at each of your temples, and in the back of your head, in the back of your neck, and a couple more in the back of your back. So you do have a lot of chakras, and you want them all breathing. That's what you want to pay attention to. And when you pay attention to these chakras, you might feel a pressure, a slight pressure, and it might feel warm, and it might go tingly. And that means it's opening. That crystal is doing something with that chakra. Now, I had to start developing my sensitivity this way. And I would walk around with a crystal in my hand all the time for at least a month. And you can even hold a crystal in your hand when you drive, because you can pay attention to your body and still be conscious. At least I can. And you can feel, pay attention to how you feel. And going, okay, the crystal is working on this today, and I feel this. And, I feel pressure over here. Or there's tingles here today. It's opening up this chakra. Okay? Now, when you've done this for a month, and if you don't want to go for a month, go for at least a week. And then, you've developed your sensitivity where you can pick up pick up another stone. Pick up an amethyst crystal, which has a point and is kind of blunt on the end. And hold that in your hand for a couple of days. And how do you feel? Do you feel inspired? Do you feel more creative? Because the amethyst crystal works on the right side of the brain, which is creativity. And the clear quartz works on the left side of the brain. So if you've got a drama queen in your life or king in your life, you do not want to give them an amethyst crystal, because that is going to amplify the drama, because it's going to make them more emotional. So if they're also someone who doesn't really express themselves, love and feelings, you're not going to want to give them a clear quartz. You're going to want to give them an amethyst, because it's going to help them get into the right side of the brain, which is expression, and help them get into the feelings. Where, again, if they're drama queens, you're going to give them a clear quartz, because that helps them detach from their emotions, hopefully. And it also gives you energy, amplifies the positive. And the amethyst crystal is the physical representation of the violet ray, and the violet ray transmutes dark energy to light. So it's also protective. So work with that for a couple of days, and then pick up another stone. It doesn't have to be a pointed crystal. Just go pick up any stone, any kind of rock that you find at your rock shop that you know the name of, and just hold it. Experience it for a couple of days, and then go back and read what it does and see whether or not you're spot on, with what spirit guided you to pick up and work with. And then when you've done that enough, you've developed your sensitivity where you can pick up a pine cone and you can feel the energy go up the pine cone, or go hug a tree and feel the tree's life force, or the flower, or even do psychometry. And the psychometry is holding an object of a person that they have only worn. And you're able to pick up about them, about their past lives, what they're going through, what they should be going through, when you're tapping into the creator. And of course, before I do a reading, I always qualify and protect myself in light, make sure I'm getting information from only the highest in the light of God. So it's fun to develop your sensitivity, because then you can branch out in so many ways. And it's good that, we get a feeling of what other people are feeling, so we know how to deal with them in love, and understand if somebody's really irritable, that has nothing to do with you. But that's, again, developing sensitivity. And again, we're almost out of time. So play with a crystal this week. How do you feel? Are you more open? How are your dreams? Put the crystal underneath your pillow. Experiment with it. What we are talking about, working with the rock stones, crystals, minerals, is just simply thoughts and ideas that you may have forgotten. And I'm just reminding you of how to play with some of the most incredible tools that the Creator has put here on earth for us to use and utilize for our embetterment, for our spiritual growth, for world enlightenment. Holding a crystal is going to amplify your energy and your prayers. And if you put it in a group circle, it's going to amplify the energy 10,000 times per person. Wow. And on that note, we're out of time again, and have a lovely week. Happy 4th of July, and drive safe and all that other good stuff. Aloha.